Welcome students. This is the last lecture class for us, and today we will see the concluding remarks about creation of GUI and few other additional features. The first one we are going to see about is the panels. As you can see in the diagram, a panel is similar to a figure window, but the doubt which you may get is what is the actual difference between a panel and figure window? Figure window will have the titles written just below them, but panels will not have any titles below them. That is the only difference. A panel can be created by a command UI panel in your Matlab guide tool, and it is available in the layout editor, which can be pasted in the GUI. You can either use a panel or you can use a figure window. These panel also can accommodate all sorts of buttons and the additional features of GUI. Next one is the button groups, and here we have a special type of button groups. Here we can have more than one button group, but the only difference is only one button will be enabled at a time. If you click one button, all the other buttons will go to off state, which is not the case in the normal buttons in GUI. This is a screenshot of a button group option. And as usual, you can change the properties of buttons using the background color, the border type, the font size, font weight, all those things which we have seen much earlier in the previous sessions. You can make use of those properties and change the properties of your GUI. And the next additional component you have is the dialog box. And you would have seen when you purchase something, you will get a message. You have successfully purchased a specific object. That is mainly due to the provision of a dialog box, which is also available in your GUI. We have the first type of dialog box called as error and warning dialog box, which may indicate you a error or which can indicate you a warning. I'll show you a screenshot of that. Hopefully you would have seen such error messages like in figure number 10.33. And there are many properties or the syntax for creating a dialog box: normal dialog, error dialog, help dialog, input dialog, list dialog. All those things just do some operations with the corresponding dialog boxes. And the second one is the input dialog box. In the input dialog box, you will have either an user defined input or an automated input can be generated with this input dialog box. This is a screenshot for an input dialog box. In the same way, you can have get file, set file, which we have already seen when we saw about reading an image or reading a text. The same operations is also possible with this GUI. Next, we have the menu box, and menu box is an option for an user to determine what we have to do with the specific component. And we have different types of menu boxes: standard menus or context menus. Standard menus, it can be pulled down from the toggle button or from a group of options. Context menus can be given or pop over from the additional clicking of a toggle button or a normal record button. And you can also have a default menu. You can have your own menus also in your GUI. You can have as many as menus as possible in your GUI window. You can have a 4, 8, it based on the hierarchical operation. And you have the accelerator keys. Sometimes if you want to skip some of the functions and go to the direct functions, you can have the accelerator keys, which can be used to speed up the process in the GUI. And you can also use UI context menu to create context menus depending upon the necessity of the user. These are some of the options for creating a menu bar in your GUI. All these process or options are readily available on the guide window. As we saw in the first class, you need not change anything. Once you type guide in your GUI option, all the options will be available, and it is up to you to determine which boxes, which options you need for your specific application. You can make additional changes to the application so that it will be customer friendly and so on. And the last topic is how to create an efficient GUI. As a beginner, it may not be possible, but once you get practice into that, it is very much possible. And there are many options for creating an efficient GUI. There are tool tips. It will provide some tips to you so that you can go for a better optimization of your GUI window. And whenever you type some callback functions, it will be first converted into a code called as P code. This is an pseudo code, which is an intermediate code, which has to be again compiled by the Matlab compiler. And finally, you will get the GUI window. And toolbars, when you open the figure window in your GUI, you will have a standard toolbars. There are also options for figure toolbars to be included in the figure windows. Suppose if you have your own design and application, still you can make use of that function for your figure windows. And there are some many additional enhancements also. Whatever we have seen are the basic concepts or the basic structure useful for designing a GUI. But depending upon the application, you have some additional enhancements which you can go and explore in your Matlab software. And these type of data analysis is also possible with the help of GUI. You can see a screenshot of this data analysis histogram diagram which we have seen. I hope you would have remembered we have used plot commands to generate histogram. The same thing is possible with GUI also. So that's all I want to inform you about the GUI. Being a small topic, not much information is in-depth information is not necessary for you. Just have an overall view. Again, you can check this in MATLAB software. You can download the guide window in your MATLAB tool and then go for execution of all the instructions. May not be in depth all those things. You can just check the button formation, the different types of button formation, the sliders, the text box, the menus, the dialog box, all those things can be created. You can have one small GUI for your project, specifically if you are from biotech or if from mechanical or any other branch. You just choose a specific application, a small application, where you are giving a customer a GUI where he can choose some products or any other application. Thank you very much for your patience listening. It is very nice having you in my class. I hope you would have got some idea about the MATLAB software programming. As I told you, is very, very important part and parcel of any engineer. So try to master MATLAB, and even in your final year, when you have any doubts in your projects, can always contact me at any point of time. Thank you very much.